one. So the leader of the William Regal Appreciation Society seems to have wrapped up with AEW this past week. William Regal seems to be on his way out of AEW and presumably back to WWE. And this comes like after like a very weird storyline with Moxley and MJF, and you kind of wonder how long it took to kind of get the ball rolling on all this stuff. But I'm well on the record saying, I was never really thrilled about the Regal thing here. I think, he had some moments like during his tenure where like there was that one promo with MJF. I thought he did a really great job. He admittedly had some rough promos in the beginning, but he was around on the accord of like Danielson and Moxley and stuff like that. This was always someone from Triple H's inner circle, which I was weary of TK like bringing him in personally, and I was like, I don't know if I'd do that, especially like looking at a wrestling war and seeing how there are people that infiltrate that are ops on the low. Some of that stuff's happening like with the media games that are happening right now. The best thing I can say about Regal is that he did business in a great way for MJF at the end. Put him over like very strong. You'll never get me to complain about that. I did not necessarily root for Regal or anything like that. I remember at Revolution, the building was going crazy around me. Of course, we're in Orlando. I'm like, everyone's going nuts for Regal, and I'm just like, I don't get it. Whatever. And I don't know. I didn't necessarily like, like I don't even like. It's funny. Like every time someone leaves AEW, it's like an indictment of the promotion. I saw people making a big deal like this is such a bad look for AEW that Regal's leaving. I'm like, all right, well, was he gonna be Tony Khan's right hand man? No. One, he's not a wrestler. So like I think his situation is different than other people's that may have been trying to necessarily leave the promotion. This guy's like not someone that they're gonna throw on screen to hurt you necessarily, and it seems like like we know he's Triple H's right hand man, and we know that's like he's gonna end up being his Pat Patterson. So I was under the impression, let him go. Like there's no reason to either hold him against his will or like make it nasty and have him floating around. So I'll hand it to you, James.
Yeah, I don't really
of discourse on all this week.
I must have missed all of it, so I don't know what's the key stuff. Like he filled me in on like this on the discourse around it, and I guess the thing for me is like, yes, he was an important figure on television since he showed up. As being a counsel for Blackpool Combat Club and everything. I think that. The write-off, if you will, I think that was a great touch for MJF because, quite frankly, that promo did absolutely nothing for me at all until he decked Regal. I guess we'll get to that later, but like I personally, and we've said this in all situations, like if the talent wants to leave, they should be able to leave, regardless of whatever, however you feel how justified the talent feels at that time for wanting to get out. They want to get out. It should be willing to get out just like any other regular job. It's not dudes in tights fighting, right? Or fake fighting, whatever you want to call it. So that's fine with me. I'm surprised that he does want to leave. But then again, he had been in WWE for
20 years.
Right. And, I think we all, in a way of like, we kind of want people to do the kind of things we wish that we could do, right? Like we can't, like similar to the Austin stuff, Austin in Mr. McMahon, where it's like, he's beating his ass's boss, or he's beating his boss's ass every single week. It's fucking awesome because you want to beat your boss's ass, right? Like that feeling of catharsis. Like we all want like people to, whenever they get wronged in the terms of being laid off, whatever else. We want like the employer to come crawling back to say they want you, and then you just tell them, "I found something better. Go get fucked." Like I think we all kind of want that. Apparently he didn't. Apparently he did like his job. So if he is going back to WWE, more power to him. If he were to stay, whatever. Like, but I will say this: given NXT at a time when he was there, given the Blackpool Combat Club, given the amount of love and respect and stories we've heard about Regal this year in particular, given what we know about like him as a scout and all that kind of stuff, like say whatever you want to about like how good he was or wasn't in the ring when we saw him, right?
I'll say I will not miss him being pushed as like this all-time legend. Like no.
Yeah. But say whatever you want to say, like his style and his influence has won, right? Like and I think that his ability to not get caught up in some of the noise when it comes to evaluating talent has been a godsend for my abilities as a fan and for the things that I've been able to see over the last 6-7 years in pro wrestling. And I think pro wrestling, a lot of it is for the better because of people like him in it. So yeah, like whatever he wants to do, fine with me. Because like I don't feel like I got shortchanged with like the JSA BCC stuff. I don't feel like I got shortchanged with like seeing stuff like Danielson and Moxley versus FTR, this year. That was all that stuff was really fucking good. And like, so yeah, like Blood and Guts, all that stuff. Was it Grand Slam, the main event of Grand Slam? Like, yeah, all that stuff, around him, and so whatever. I feel like if he wants to go, I feel like there was more stuff he could have done in AEW, but he wanted to leave, and that's unfortunate. But we'll see if he can help turn around WWE. Look, maybe he said, "Look, maybe this was God's calling for William Regal." Have anyone ever thought of that?
Have we has Regal tried it?
Yeah.
Maybe TK is gonna get on the phone call and say, "Well, God told or Regal told me God had a different mission for him." So, yeah. But TK is gonna have a call where he is gonna clear it up tomorrow as far as like the Regal status. Of course, there's a lot of like insane stories that were going on from everyone from EC3 that immediately tried to turn this into an indictment of the culture of AEW versus Regal and
what
just
EC3?
foolishness.
What happened?
Not even worth parroting because it turned out to not even be true.
Okay.
But yeah, so he can watch PWG, sign the top four people possibly from there, and
hey, that's always a good move though. Yeah, I know you can say it's easy, but look,
how hard is that?
Hey, you be like, oh, Nick Saban, all he does is go get the 5-star recruits. Exactly, motherfucker. that's the point. Like that is the point. So yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah. So after that,
did I see something about have you seen some of these like PWG entrants?
I thought I did, but I wasn't sure.
You're not sure if you're getting conned by fake accounts?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
we'll discuss it later.
I didn't get an official list. But yeah, so they'll have to rename that entire unit. This is proof that the Jericho Appreciation Society won and beat these boys out of promotion. Real in storyline is a fucking sucker, and and the LeBron James, you bum of a lifetime. Just you double cross your unit to get turned on, bro. I have not rooted for Regal's character. I think it's been pretty clear on this show since he's arrived. When I saw this shit, I fucking howled and laughed and pumped my fists when I saw MJF lay him out. I'm like, see, that's what you give it being a sucker. Like, so we'll move on from there. But
I will say this. We'll move on. it was a very good touch too, because MJF during that long thing that he did, like he mentioned Starks, he mentioned Kingston, he also mentioned Danielson. And like when Danielson spared him the week
Oh,
before from getting murdered by
I
Moxley, that clearly is tying into they're going to do an MJF Danielson match. And like I'm look, there are a few things right now at this point that I'm interested in seeing with MJF. I want to see how Danielson like is able to filter through
I'm very down
some of
on
MJF's ideas.
I'm very down on Danielson right now.
Really?
We'll get to it. But
Okay.
and it just ties in from like the last 2 weeks. It's just like it's baffling presentation, I think.